Let's get to the story of the week. Double standard on display all week long. I'm not a lawyer. You most likely are not a lawyer. But all we've been hearing about all for the last 48 hours are breakdown after breakdown on the cases against former President Donald J. Trump, and none against current President Joe Biden. Trump was indicted on dozens of federal charges, including obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and violation of the Espionage Act, and because of documents at Mar-a-Lago and his New Jersey golf club. Which brings me to my overarching point. How about fairness? Now, do I think that President Trump is always right? Do I think he's always unfairly accused? Absolutely not. And does it mean a payment for an alleged affair and arguments over classified documents causing global shockwaves and possibly jail time is actually indicative of the seriousness of all this? No, especially because we're watching a president skate on his family's international entanglements, which could compromise him in office, and classified document haul, which, when it's all said and done, could outstrip anything Donald Trump has. Hey, DOJ, FBI, Democratic Attack Squad, if you want to destroy Trump, pick up your head, look around. You fired up his crowd, and if you wanted to help the rest of the GOP field beat him, watch the news. Almost all have offered degrees of support to the man they want to defeat. So here now, with where we stand as a nation and where the president stands right now legally, is Judge Jeanine Pirro. You watch her on the 5, you watch her all over the channel, and when things get serious, we call her up because I paid a retainer in early 1971, and therefore she's always on call. Judge, we're getting hit fast and furious about an indictment that is not a total surprise. What stands out to you on the 49 pages?
Well, what stands out to me is that this is apparently what's called a narrative indictment. And it appears that they're writing a story. And I think that the concept is to make sure that the public can't say you're not being transparent with us. They're writing it like a book. They're writing it, this witness said this witness said
pictures.
that. I mean, this is crazy. What they're trying to say is, we've got witnesses, we've got evidence. But you know what? Everything is about context. Everything is about, was anything tape recorded? Is anything, subject to a bug? I mean, is anything transcribed? Or is this just a statement a witness made who probably has to stick with it when that person goes to trial? Or are they thinking about something else? But what stands out about this is the fact that this is a lot of effort to go after a former president, a candidate for president, by a president who's saying, no, it has nothing to do with me. It's a special counsel. Stop trying to fool the American people. This is an indictment brought against a candidate running for president by another candidate who's running for president. Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, all of them should be indicted if this is going to be the standard. And they're going to say, look, oh, it's not just possession of classified. He tried to obstruct us. Excuse me. Joe Biden had records at the Penn Biden Center, supported by the Chinese, as well as at his beach house, in his garage, and in Delaware. And now they're saying Trump moved it to Bedminster. Whether he did or didn't, I can't say. I don't know the facts. But what I do know is, looking at this right now, America is saying, whoa, whoa. Why can't they fight this at the ballot box? Why do they have to make up the Russia collusion hoax? Even the Durham report said Hillary made it up to get them off her back for the email scandal that she was never indicted for classified documents.
Judge Eileen Cannon, someone who President Trump appointed, will preside over the case.
Right.
One of the decisions, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you always do, they'll talk about timing. Yeah. And they'll talk about timing of everything. And timing is everything, because we're going to have an election in a year. Right. And it looks right now like he's on track for the nomination. So if he's going to be in court, he can't campaign. And how does that affect who votes for you?
Well, I think Americans who are going to vote for Donald Trump know Donald Trump. It's not like they have to meet him for the first time. I think that they have run this whole thing. So he's going to be in New York in March. Isn't that in the middle of the debate season? Now they've got him here for this federal offense. The question now is, how many more charges are they going to throw at him? How much more can they do to this man? They've been attacking him since he came down that escalator. It has never, ever stopped. And this man is not going to stop. So we'll see whether or not this, when the Democrats will say, or the left will say, this is the real deal, this is the real deal. It's up to the American people, because right now we're on the verge of a banana republic. You've got a guy running for president and another guy running for president, and he's trying to indict him to stop him.
So, Judge, I'm looking at the timeline of events, and the key was the archives asked for the paperwork back.
Right.
So they thought they were getting 12, they got 15 boxes back.
Right.
When they found out there were classified documents in there, they quickly said, give us the rest. And he said, well, come on down, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
And then they called the Department of Justice, who actually exercised the FBI. Next thing you know, we're looking at a raid instead of a discussion. And
Right.
whether they were giving up classifieds or what box is this or presidential files is one thing. But what about the weaponized, the archives, who are basically glorified librarians?
They are
getting
librarians.
the DOJ going.
And this is a civil case. Librarians do this stuff in a civil case. What they did was they tried to etch into the minds of Americans, this guy is a criminal. You got helicopters above. You've got men who are armed breaking into Mar-a-Lago in the dark of night or the early morning hours. They're trying to paint him as a criminal. They've done it since day one. And this whole thing is no different. In fact, it's less significant than
Right.
what Hillary Clinton
But they
did.
do have audio tapes of him saying, look at this Iran attack plan and General Milley and this and that, because General Milley was in the news saying something about attacking Iran and what the president did or didn't want to do.
Right, right. And obviously that's a problem. That is a problem. I certainly can understand
He's not playing
that.
a perfect game.
But what I want to know is, what is the context of everything?
Exactly.
Is it a plan that already was done and that, that he had the right to have? Should he have shown it to people? Of course not.
The one thing that bothers me is removing Jim Trusty. He says, I have to step aside or I'm going to step aside. You watch him beat up all these other networks and go to bat for the president. Now Todd Blanche is in and he's out. Said a nice thing in his exit interview, but he's out.
Well, it's not unusual for the feds, and I've seen this happen many times, where they'll say to a defense attorney, you can no longer represent this person because we think that you're part of a plan to conceal. And they threaten and intimidate lawyers to get them off these cases because they don't want them involved.
Congratulations on the success of your book.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
What book is that?
The book that you have out.
Crimes Against America.
Yes, absolutely. Judge, thank you so much.
You.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.